It is a beautiful, still, warm summer's evening in Wales. So I've come down to the Gower Coast. I'm at Three Cliffs Bay. And I've got 3 new lenses to test out. I've got the Sony 16-35 f2.8 G Master, the Tokina 20mm f2, and I've got the Sigma 8mm circular fisheye. Tonight's gonna be fun. Alright, so first up is the Sony 16-35 f2.8 G Master lens. I'm super excited for this lens because I've always wanted an all-in-one lens. When I was shooting Canon, I used to use the 16-35 f4 for like my daytime landscape stuff. And then for Astro, I used to carry a bunch of primes, so the Sigma 14mm f1.8, which is big and heavy in its own right. And then the Samyang 20mm f1.8 and the Samyang 24mm f1.4. So this lens technically does the job of all 4 of those lenses. It also takes filters as well, so it's a true all-in-one. And I know some of you are thinking, yeah, but Canon do a 16-35 f2.8. The reason I didn't go for that was because it had very, very strong vignetting, like really bad vignetting, which for astrophotography means that you're not able to collect as much light compared to other lenses at f2.8. So your images will be darker, and they'll also be more noisy because you're collecting less signal and the noise is a lot more apparent in the images. So I'm told this doesn't have as bad vignetting. It's actually supposed to be pretty well controlled. So I'm going to take a few test shots at the different focal lengths, check out the aberrations in the corner, like the coma, the astigmatism, and see how the stars look, and see how bad the vignetting is. But I'm so excited to have an all-in-one lens. Just for hiking up mountains, I can just take one lens, or going traveling, I can just take this one lens, hopefully, as long as I'm happy with it. So I'm going to do some testing. I'm probably going to jump back to me in my bedroom right about now. Whoop. Alright guys, please bear in mind that this is just a first impression. Those of you that subscribe to my channel know if I'm reviewing something, I like to use it extensively first before forming an opinion. So this is just a first impression, and I'm just going to show you guys what I look for in a new lens for astrophotography, so I'll give you a good insight to that. Okay guys, so this is at 16mm, and the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to check the vignetting. Now because it's a zoom lens, I'm expecting some significant vignetting, but hopefully it's not too much. And I'm just going to enable the profile correction, and you can see that there is some obvious vignetting, but for a 16-35 f2.8 zoom lens used at its widest angle and its maximum aperture, it's pretty good. There's no funky discoloration going on in the corners, and just to check that, I'm going to lift the shadows and the blacks. A little bit of magenta creeping in, and the corners are definitely a little bit noisier than the center of the frame, but that's real pixel peeping. I'm not going to be bothered by that because I'm not going to brighten the image that much. I normally vignette my images anyway, so that's to be expected, and it's definitely not upsetting, but that's pretty good for a zoom lens at its maximum aperture. I mean, that's partly thanks to the Sony sensor in the A7 III, but we're not losing too much light in the corners that it's disappointing. That's quite acceptable. Now I'm going to check the stars in the corners for some aberrations. This side of the frame looks a little bit soft, and there's some form of aberration going on because these stars are a bit stretched. But this side does look a bit soft. I wonder if I slip focus a little bit. And there's still some aberrations as I creep into the center top. Looking a bit better here. Still a bit of chromatic aberration going on. Stars appear again, stretched, and there's signs of coma there. It's all in all, it's well controlled. That right hand side does look a little bit soft, so I hope my lens is not decentered. It might be that I missed focus, and it's worth noting that the Sony 16-35 is one of those electronic focus by wire focusing systems rather than a mechanical system. First impressions, it's okay. I definitely prefer mechanical focus rings, but as far as fly-by-wires go, it was okay. I mean, I did find myself getting annoyed or frustrated at any point using it, but it might mean that I've missed focus. Maybe I focused too far, maybe past infinity. But it's otherwise well controlled. Sharpness is excellent. I mean, it's not as sharp as the Sigma 14mm, but that's like the sharpest lens I own, but still pretty impressive. So I'm going to check 20. This is 20mm, and again I'm just going to do the lens correction, so the vignette is not as bad as 16mm. Let's just check the corners. I think that's probably star trailing rather than some form of aberration. It looks a lot better than 16mm. Stars are stretched, but I think that's star trailing, that's not aberrations. Looks a lot better controlled at 20mm than 16mm. 24mm. Actually a little bit more vignetting than I was expecting, but again, nothing that is going to upset me. And if I just check the corners, it's looking a bit sharper on the right hand side of the frame, so I think maybe I did miss focus at 16mm. Bit weird of an uneven flare going on what is that? That is Jupiter. Bit of an uneven flare, an uneven star going on there, that's not cool. Some signs of coma again, top middle, but all in all pretty well controlled. That's looking good at 24 in the corners. I think that's a little bit of star trading, so that's looking fairly good. And then at the extreme end, 35mm. I'm going to boost the exposure just so I can see the vignetting a little bit better, and lens correction. So yeah, some significant vignetting at 35, but again, nothing too crazy, nothing that is disappointing me. I'm quite happy with that. Signs of coma here on the bigger stars, and maybe a bit of astigmatism, but not, not glaringly horrible. It's still pretty well controlled, especially for a zoom lens. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Now next up is the Tokina Firin 20mm f2 lens. This is going to replace my Samyang 20mm f1.8. That is the lens that basically stays on my vlogging camera. I film the vlogs with it, and it's my backup camera to take shots and time lapses. So I stuck with the 20mm focal length. It's nice and wide, you can get some stars in whilst you're vlogging. I found 24 a bit tight to vlog. The 20mm focal length is perfect for what I do. But this lens is a little bit lighter than the Samyang lens, and even lighter when you consider that you don't need an adapter. But it's way smaller, it's tiny, its profile is so small, it feels so good on the camera. I'm really hoping this lens is going to be good. It's just an awesome little vlogging setup. It really does feel like a neat little compact vlogging sort of setup. The Samyang just kind of extended quite a bit, and it was a bit front heavy. So crossing my fingers to this lens. I'm going to test it for video. I'm going to compare it to the 24mm f1.4 because my 20mm has been sold, so I can't do a direct comparison. But hopefully f2 is enough to film the vlogs. f1.8 is a third stop advantage, so it's not that big a loss. So I'm going to put it through its paces. This shot was taken at f2, and the first thing that immediately hits me with this lens is that it is very sharp. I'm really liking the sharpness of this lens. Detail is resolved really well. Even at f2, this lens is nicely sharp. The images look awesome. So it's nice that it's really sharp even at its widest setting. Let's check the vignetting. Oh, it's quite heavier than I expected it to be, but again, bottom corners look really dark compared to when the having the lens correction. So a little bit of vignetting, absolutely nothing that worries me. That's fine for me. And if I lift the shadows a bit, a little bit of extra noise in the corner, but nothing too extreme. Let's check the stars in the corner. Little signs of coma there on that brighter star. Would have been better to have a few more brighter stars in the corner of the frame to get a better idea. Some funky distortion going on with Jupiter there. It's not really perfectly round, and again, signs of coma again there. All in all, pretty well controlled. I mean, this is f2, this is the wider setting, so pretty happy with that. There's a little bit of stretch in there. I'm not sure, that's probably star trading, to be honest. But all in all, pretty well controlled. I mean, this is f2, this is really good, and the sharpness is excellent. This is f2.8, obviously a little bit darker because I've stepped down, but again, the sharpness, I'm just going to bring out some detail. Just really digging the sharpness of this lens. It's really good. I mean, it probably doesn't compare to the Batiste 18mm, but this thing is so much cheaper. Again, a little bit of an uneven flare going on Jupiter. But otherwise, the aberrations are really well controlled. I'm pretty happy with this. This is good. This is f2.8 now. Nice. Yeah, it's looking good. Sharpness is pretty similar to f2, to be honest. There doesn't seem to be much benefit in stepping down. And lens correction wise, there's obviously less vignetting at f2.8 because we've stepped the lens down. And it's looking really good. It's really sharp. I mean, this lens is so small and so light. I also wanted to test this lens out for video. Yeah, the idea behind buying this lens was to replace the Samyang 20mm which I had, and this would be like my vlogging lens, and I was a little bit worried that f2 wasn't going to be enough, wasn't wide enough to get good detail in the dark, because as you know, I shoot in like the darkest of environments. So this is from the Tokina 20mm f2. You can just about see the three cliffs. There's a little bit of the glow of the Milky Way, which will probably get lost with YouTube compression. See some stars. You can just about make out the horizon, so it's a bit dark. And if I compare it to the Samyang 24mm f1.4, it's significantly brighter. The three cliffs are a lot more obvious. You can see a bit more of the Milky Way, a few more stars. Stars look brighter. You can even see these pools and puddles in the foreground. So this kind of leaves me in a tricky situation, because that difference is quite significant. And it's going to be a lot noisier because it's not collecting as much light as the Samyang 24mm. So I don't know how long this Tokina is going to stay in my bag, because look at that. It's a huge difference for the vlogs, to be able to see the environment I'm working in under the stars and all that stuff. That is, you know, a big part of my vlogs is sharing the experience and sharing the environment with you guys. I hate these vlogs at night, which is just a person in the dark field with a torch on their face and you can't see where they are or what they're doing. They could be anywhere. So there's a clear winner here for the Samyang 24mm. So much better in the detail and the brightness and even the Milky Way. So this is a little bit of a shame for me, but I imagine, you know, for most people, they don't care about the video use of, well, this extreme use for video of this lens. So this is something, you know, very personal to me. Anyway, just after filming these two little clips, something really exciting happened. So I just stood in like a pretty deep puddle and my foot just sparkled and I knew it instantly. It was bioluminescent plankton. It's back. It's literally been like a year. It's pretty much been exactly a year since I came to this very beach and photographed bioluminescent plankton under the Milky Way. And this one puddle, I tried the other puddles and they're not working, but a few of these puddles have got plankton trapped in the bioluminescent plankton. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to run down to the sea and see if there's any like getting washed up on the shore. I'm trying to film it in these puddles, but it's just so dark. And if I turn any lights on, you're not going to be able to see the plankton sparkling, but hopefully there's a bit more down at the sea. Shit, I'm going to get my bag. Come on, let's go. Oh, I hope there's some down at the sea. So I've made it down to the sea. I can't see anything. Last time I saw the plankton, you could see it like shimmering and flickering away. Last time I saw the plankton down here, it lights up when it gets agitated, so as the waves break, you just see this blue effervescent glow just kind of sparkling away in the waves, but I can't see anything. It's crazy because the beach is absolutely littered. They're all stuck in these little dunes and pools. It's not really coming out on camera, which is a shame, but I ended up getting so carried away with the bioluminescence so I didn't get to test the fisheye lens properly. I took like 1 or 2 images, but it got really cloudy, but it looks promising. There's no coma, the stars look really sharp. Alright, so this is one of the fisheye shots that I fired off just as the cloud rolled in, but luckily I did get a chance a few nights afterwards without any clouds. And this is a 50-second exposure, and okay, I think there might be a little bit of star trailing going on, but nothing major. And there's a bit of chromatic aberration. Look for the stars close to the edge. Bit of fringing, bit of colour fringing going on. Not sure if that could be improved with better focusing, maybe. This side seems a little bit soft as well. Again, colour fringing on the edge. There's a bit of colour fringing going on. I mean, I'm not overly fussed. I don't really need like ridiculously awesome performance from this lens. This is quite cool. A novelty gimmick lens, to be honest. I mean, look how cool it is though to get the whole of the night sky in a single frame. So things like meteor showers, you're not gonna miss a thing. It's also really cool to see the light pollution and sort of how high it rises into the sky from various directions. So this could be really useful lens to kind of do light pollution comparisons and light pollution studies. And I've been playing about with some 360s lately. You can take like 4 shots and you've already got a 360 image that you can throw up on Facebook. It's really cool. But I'm looking forward to getting creative with this lens. I'm really excited to get a bit creative with that lens. I've kind of been stuck in a bit of a rut using the 14mm and the 24mm. So this fisheye, yeah, so with this fisheye, Let's start getting a little bit more creative. I've got a few ideas. We've got the meteor shower coming up, so having a 180-degree field view of the night sky means I won't miss a single thing. It's always devastating when you miss like the biggest shooting star. But I've got a couple of other ideas that I want to try and do, so stay tuned for those. If you're going out to enjoy the night sky anytime soon, I wish you good luck in clear skies.